Hey, what is going on, my fellow Sagittariuses? Butch Tarot here. I hope you had a great holidays. I know I did. Got to spend it with family. That's what's important. And we got lucky too. We're always, there's that idea of always having a white Christmas. I live in Canada, so some people don't get snow, but in Canada, it's always nice to have a white Christmas. And Christmas Eve, we had a big snowstorm. Woke up with a 2-foot blanket of snow on everything, freshly fallen. So it was nice. But I hope you had a good time. I hope you got to share with friends and family. I'm going to do your January read from now to the end of January. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your sun, moon, rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. With all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Sagittarius for January 2025? What do we have for Sagittarius? Okay. Let's get it. The first thing I see, Sagittarius, I feel like this is someone I feel like I feel like there's already an existing connection with this person. And how far back that goes, it's not showing me, but it is showing me that there is familiarity with this person. But I feel like with this person, I mean, we're starting off, I feel like there's this hot and cold energy with this person. I feel like you never know what you're getting from this person. You never know what to expect with this person. And not in a great way. Not even in a good way. I feel like there's such a resistance with this person. I mean, I feel like they spend a lot of time in their head. And I mean, with the Hermit, and we also have the 9 of Wands. So there's some very defensive energy with this person. They spend a lot of time in their head. I feel like everything was good in the beginning. I feel like you had an incredible connection with this person. I feel like you still have that incredible connection, but somewhere along the way, things changed. And I get the feeling that it was when things started really getting serious between the two of you. That's when that hot and cold starts. And I mean, I feel like there's so much going on here, and I really want to unpack this properly. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of chaotic energy between you and your person. And I feel like it's I feel like it's from them. Like I said, you have this incredible connection with this person, incredibly deep connection. I feel like with this person, you can talk about anything with this person. There's this, they make you feel safe to a point. But that's where this gets really confusing. I mean, I feel like you have this great connection. I feel like great communication. But like I said, somewhere along the line, I feel like things changed. That hot and cold energy started, that causing that, that tower, that chaotic energy. This person's feeling more closed off, which is kind of the opposite of what we expect. When we're in a relationship with someone, we figure after time, things start opening up more freely rather than closed off. And I feel like with this person, I mean, there's a lot of internal struggle going on within this person. There's a lot going on with this person, but I feel like they don't share that with you. And I mean, I feel like the worst part about this, and I'm sorry, but it's getting worse. I don't see this changing. Not the way it's going. Now, me, there's always a silver lining. We're going to get to it. But I feel like we have to focus on what's important right now. This isn't changing. This isn't, the course isn't changing the way it's happening right now. It's not like we leave this alone and eventually it'll come around. I don't feel like that happening. I mean, I feel like this person, like I said, with that hermit stuck in their own head, overthinking the shit at everything. Now, the real problem is I feel like how they treat you has changed. And that's a real problem. That's something that we need to really focus on because it is a problem. Sometimes we get close to someone and people start taking that for granted. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. It's almost like you got to a point where, you felt safe with each other. And like I said, it's supposed to open up now, but that's not what's happening. I mean, this person, I feel like it's fear. And the worst part about this fear, I feel like it got real. It got real for them. But once it got real, this person, I'm not going to bullshit you. I feel like this person truly does care about you. I feel like emotionally there's definitely an emotional connection that they have with you that's deeper than any feeling they've ever had toward anyone. But that's kind of what adds to the fear for this person. I feel like they've been betrayed before with that Ten of Swords. I feel like someone did this person real dirty. And I feel like they've never really let it go. And getting to a place where they got with you, it's almost like once they got to that place, these red flags, these warning signs started coming up for this person. But I don't feel like they're there. You know what I mean? I feel like they're just making this up. I don't want to say this, but I feel like this person gaslights you. I feel like you kind of want some answers from this person and they're not giving you any. But instead, they're being very defensive, like I said, with that Nine of Wands. And we got that Nine of Swords, it's fear. That anxious energy. So they make you feel like you're the problem. Now, for some of you, it could be you're dealing with someone that has a lot of pride and can't accept that. On the other hand, it could be someone that's kind of a little bit delusional. I feel like there's some insidious behavior going on here. I feel like this person's trying to be really crafty. I feel like it's like slow moving. There's definitely some, like I said, there's some self-sabotaging going on here. I feel like it's almost like this person doesn't know what it's like to be happy, or doesn't know what it's like to be happy without that inevitable downfall. And this happens to a lot of people that have been hurt bad. You know, someone that's been hurt really bad in the past, they kind of almost expect the worst because they've been through it. They've been through, you know, the highs and lows. But like I said, this isn't going to change. And this behavior of this person is holding you both back. Now, I'm not saying this isn't the person for you. I'm not saying that you know, incredible connection that you have has to end. I mean, the potential with this connection is off the charts. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really see this often. Usually when it's one way, it'll never be the other. You know what I mean? Usually when it's one way, you know, usually when relationship gets to the point where this person, when that person's gaslighting you, this person's, you know, kind of blaming you or making you feel some sort of way, feeling distant, usually that's the kind of the end of the road. But I don't feel that here. I don't feel like this is the end of the road at all. I feel like their behavior is holding you guys back from your potential, which I feel like you have a lot of potential, like I said, with that Page of Wands. I mean, I feel like the potential is off the charts, to be honest with you. I feel like this could be the one. Very possibly could be the one. But I feel like they have to embrace that. And I feel like I said, I don't see that changing with the Six of Swords in reverse. I don't see that changing the way it's going. I feel like it's time to put your foot down. You know, sometimes, and I don't like saying this either, sometimes it's tough love. You know, sometimes you got to stand your ground. And even when you don't want to, even when you fear you may lose something that's dear to you, sometimes you got to stand your ground. And I feel like that's exactly what I'm seeing here. I mean, I feel like the only way to return balance to the situation is not allowing, you know, not engaging, not giving them any power. Like I said, I mean, gaslighting to a point. I don't mean like super overwhelming, like toxic gaslighting. I just mean like the gaslighting might even just be them, you know, convincing themselves. And yes, I truly believe that you can gaslight in your own head. You know, blaming the other person. You know, things happening and you're blaming them for it, even though it's not their fault at all. You know, not taking, you know, accountability. I'm going to say this I hope that it gets through the way I mean it to get through. It feels like this person is trying to create a way out of this relationship that they don't want. They don't want a way out. But it's almost like unconsciously they're creating their own way out, or they're pushing you away from them, or they're pushing themselves away from you. But they don't want to be out of this relationship. I feel like they feel that connection as well. I mean, they feel that bond with you. They're happy with you. You know, their happiest time with you is their happiest times ever. And they want more of that. They want to be happy. They just don't know how. And that's the thing. That's really, you know, that emotional fulfillment that you have for each other, that you give to each other. I mean, this person thinks about you and only you. They want to be with you. I feel like they just don't know how. But like I said, things aren't going to change until we acknowledge the elephant in the room. And once we do that, that's when things will change. You know, with the death card, I see this huge transformation, and you finally getting what you want, getting what you've been waiting for with this person, getting to a place where we've already surpassed that negative outcome that they keep going over in their head. You know, it's something that a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't realize how much people do it because people really don't talk about it. You know, I used to do it, and I still occasionally do it, but I've gotten a lot better at it. You know, is kind of, I believe the word is catastrophize. You know, it's when you see the worst possible outcome. You know, when you envision it, you look 10 steps ahead, and you know, you kind of, but the problem is you're making that up in your head. Unless you really believe you're seeing into the future, what's about to happen, what's going to happen. And the worst part about that is sometimes when people believe so much in what they've seen or what they envision is going to happen, they kind of help it play out. Or the perfect shirt. You got to let that shit go. Buddha said that. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. But I just realized I wore perfect shirt for this reading. You know, they got to let it go. And again, I'm talking about something that I've talked about before as well. Sometimes when we get hurt by someone, we kind of put this wall up to anybody else coming in, any new people coming in. And we're allowing that person that hurt us so much power in our life that they don't deserve. And I feel like this person is allowing. But the worst part is I mean, they've been betrayed, and I don't feel like it's just in the relationships. I feel like this person has some traumas, and the best and only way I think to get over trauma is we got to talk about it. We got to be open and share. You know, and I feel like that insight helps our partner kind of understand us better. Maybe they can't even help you with it, but it helps them understand you better. But like I said, I mean, I do feel like there's an incredible potential here for this to be an amazing connection, even more so than it is and it has been. But like I said, we got to stand our ground. We can't allow, you know, it's kind of like, you're in a boat. You go to get in a boat with someone. You're on the dock. You're standing on the dock, and this person's rocking the boat. You have a choice whether you get in that boat, and it could, you know, could capsize because they're rocking it so much, or you can stay on the dock until they figure the shit out, till they calm down. You know, but you can't play into it. You know, and I feel like the moment they realize that you're not playing into this, that's when things start to really change. I know that was a lot to unpack. You know, with this person, I mean, getting some fire, some Aries, some Leo, Sagittarius. We got Capricorn. We got Scorpio, Gemini, Aquarius. Pisces as well. Some Virgo too. Sometimes the worst enemy is ourselves. We're our own worst enemy. You know, I remember hearing that so many times when I was a kid. You know, people telling other people advice. They're like, "Oh, you're your own worst enemy." And you're like, "What the hell does that even mean? How can you be your worst enemy?" But as an adult, I realized very quickly, not only is it true, but it happens a lot more than you think it does. You know, it's A friend of mine, he was cheated on, and he was in love with her. He loved her, and she cheated on him. And it was bad because not only did he find out, in kind of like the most terrible way, not the most terrible way, but pretty bad way he found out. Not only did he find out in a bad way, but it kind of got blown up all over our friend group, and kind of like everybody heard about it. And the worst, and I know it sucks when something really bad happens to you, and then on top of that, the embarrassment of everybody hearing about it. But it hurt him really bad, of course. Another example of insidious behavior. She was messing around with this person for months, and she didn't work. She was a stay-at-home girlfriend. They didn't have any kids. But she would be stashing, she would get money from him, and she was stashing it away. And, it was bad. Because she had a plan. She was planning to keep scamming money from him until she got to a point where she could get her own place, or I don't even know what her plan was, but not only was she cheating on him, but she was stealing his money. And, anyway, this story's going to be a lot longer if I keep going into it. Point of the story is he had a hard time moving on from that. He dated a few girls after that, and he was really, they would leave him because he was jealous, that he would, and he accused a few of them of fooling around with other people, and it just caused him to be really not a person he was. He was never that person, and then it happened to him, then all he could think about. He was with her for almost 5 years. So when you're with someone that long and you feel like you have this trust with them, you think you're good, and then they do that to you. It really messes up your head. So he ended up meeting a girl a few years ago, and she wouldn't put up with the bullshit. She knew he was a good guy. She really liked him. I'll say loved him. And she knew that he loved her. And she got through to him somehow. I don't know how it happened, but she just put her foot down one day and just said, listen, I get that things are getting serious between us. I know things happened to you in the past. That's not who I am. You can either trust me or let me go. And I feel like the right people come into our life at the right time. I feel like he needed to hear that. Because he started pushing her away when they got serious. And that's what he did with all his relationships since the one that cheated on him. Even the good ones, he'd be with someone and they'd be really good together. And then he'd start blaming her for things that she never did, accusing her of things. It was just the jealousy. But he never opened up about what had happened. And I feel like that's what I'm just talking about. When something bad happens to you, you got to be open with your partner. And that affords them the opportunity to either understand or not understand. And this girl got through to him, and he told her, and she basically said, I'm not that person, and I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone that thinks I am that person. So you either get over it and let me go, or we'll work through it. Now, I wouldn't suggest the way she went about it, but she was really open with him. She had, I remember it was kind of funny, but I think you deal with people in the way they need to be dealt with. Like with him, he had jealousy issues. She said, listen, anytime you call me, I'm going to answer. if you want me to FaceTime you when you call to show you what I'm up to, and he had access to her phone, and he said the funny thing is she gave me access to her phone, like I had her pin. She never changed it. I would check it once in a while, he said, and see if she changed it on me, and she never did. And he said the funny thing is, I never checked her phone. I always checked once in a while to see if the passcode was the same, but I never went through a message or anything. He said it was just that little bit of a thing that made me feel comfortable. And I didn't want to invade her privacy, but it made me feel like she cared. I know a lot of people are going to say people that are sneaky, so I think she's a good person. She really changed him. And they're good together. And I hope it works out for him. But like I said, sometimes that girl that cheated on him ruined a few other relationships that who knows where they would have went. But he allowed her that power. No one can have that power over you unless you allow them to have it. This got a little bit more than I expected to get to, but point of the story, there's a lot of points. The main point of the story is, if you want something, gotta stand your ground. If it's worth fighting for, fight for it. And like I said, the world is a dangerous place for our hearts to be just wandering around. We got to protect it, but we also got to let it go free once in a while. Let it run free. Anyway, be good. Take care. Stay safe.